From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us here for WRTV News at 6 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. The Trump train made its way through the Circle City today. The parade made its way down Interstate 465 and finished at Monument Circle. Once their drivers circled the monument, honking their horns and displaying their support for President Trump. There were some Biden-Harris supporters in the mix, too. We spoke with a supporter who says it was a peaceful show of support.
I just wanted to show my support for Donald Trump. There's so much controversy back and forth between Democrats and Republicans. Not racist, we just support our president.
Well, the parade also brought out other groups who just wanted to show solidarity in their own way. Now let's check in with the presidential candidates themselves as they continue barnstorming across several key states. ABC's Alex Prochet has the very latest.
With just 2 days until Election Day, the candidates are blitzing battleground country. President Trump holding 5 rallies across 5 states on Sunday, including Iowa, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. His first stop, Michigan, where he is once again making his case to suburban women.
They want to close down your factories, ship your jobs to China, eliminate private health care, destroy the suburbs. The women of the suburbs, you've got to love me.
The president's handling of the coronavirus pandemic continues to be a key issue. His campaign says voters want life to get back to normal.
Look at these Democrat-run states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. We're seeing this on the campaign trail with the rallies. People are tired of these lockdowns. They want to safely reopen.
In Philadelphia, where Pennsylvania polls show a tight race, Joe Biden taking aim at the president's leadership.
2 more days, we can put an end to this presidency that is from the very beginning sought to divide us, to tear us apart.
His campaign appearing confident they will win some of the battleground states Trump carried in 2016.
Instead of the number of contested battleground states shrinking, which is normally what you see at this point in a campaign, the number has actually expanded so that we're now campaigning also in Georgia, in Iowa, in Ohio.
As Election Day nears, more than 93 million Americans have already cast their ballots. 9 million Texans have voted, surpassing all of 2016's turnout. But a federal judge will hear arguments Monday in a case brought by Texas conservatives challenging more than 100,000 ballots cast at 10 drive-through locations in Harris County, which is largely Democrat. The group alleging curbside voting violates state and federal election laws. A similar challenge was already rejected by the all-Republican Texas Supreme Court. Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
Alex, thank you. We are nearing the home stretch with Election Day just 2 days away. Voters are still trying to brave long lines to make sure their vote counts. News of shorter wait times kept the lines moving here at Lucas Oil Stadium today, especially after learning there are more than 50 polling machines inside. That's more than any other polling place here in Marion County. We caught up with one voter who says she's glad the line was moving right along, but even long wait times would not turn her away.
Yes, it's worth the wait. Yes, we're trying to let our voice be heard. Yes, it's worth the wait.
Was this the day that you just made a plan and you decided you were going to get out and make sure no matter how long it takes?
Yes, I made that decision.
Well, with Election Day Tuesday, you can keep an eye on the wait times at polling locations at indyvotetimes.org. We do have details on how it all works on the WRTV News app. If you haven't dropped off your ballot yet, you will have another opportunity to do so at the main post office in downtown Indy tomorrow. From 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., USPS employees will set up outside the South Street office ready to take your ballot. They sort them and prepare them to be delivered to the appropriate election board right on site.
We're doing this because we want to make sure that every voter has an opportunity to get their ballot in. We know a lot of people waited to the last minute for various reasons. Maybe they were just, trying to make their decision, and we want to make sure that we're here for them.
Marion County voters can also drop off ballots at the same location on Election Day from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. If you don't have reliable transportation to make it to the polls this year, there are public transportation options that will be free on Election Day. Indigo rides are free on November 3rd, and now Pacers Bike Share is offering free rides as well. Riders can download the B-Cycle app to find and dock bikes, and you do need a credit card when checking out. Trips longer than 60 minutes do cost 15 cents per minute. There's also a shuttle service called Souls to the Polls. We have all the details on that on the WRTV app. The BMV is extending its hours on Monday and Tuesday to issue ID cards and driver's licenses that are needed at polling locations. Branches will be open tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. until 8 p.m. On Tuesday, they will be open at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Officials say paper IDs are acceptable forms of identification to vote. You can also use expired ID cards or licenses as proof of identification for voting purposes. A reminder, we will have live coverage of everything happening next Tuesday on Election Day, live right here on WRTV. We'll look at all the key races, plus we'll have analysis and results when they come in. Look for us on the WRTV app on streaming devices such as Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV. We will also provide you live results throughout the night here on WRTV with a complete wrap-up on the news at 11. Now to your forecast on this Sunday. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory in with us tonight. And Kevin, it is cold outside today.
Cold and windy. I'll answer that question. This is how windy. The peak gust almost 50 miles per hour. That is humming along for non-thunderstorm winds. We had a 43 mile per hour gust in Indianapolis. That 48 mile per hour wind is going to calm down. But here's why so windy. Up in Quebec, strong low pressure. We've got high pressure moving in. It's the pressure difference that's creating the strong winds, and we're caught in between. And it is a cold northwest wind. Blue equals snow. There have been some snow flurries around Marion. Heard from a couple of viewers there. Snow showers in lower Michigan off of Lake Michigan. The clouds that we have will gradually fade away this evening and set the stage for these temperatures to fall into the 20s. It is 38 right now in Indianapolis. Columbus at 39, looking for warmth. 42 is the best that we can do from Terre Haute on down to Bloomington. These temperatures, though, feel about 10 degrees colder because of that wind that we were talking about. Even though the wind calms down tonight, it will still gust over 20 miles per hour. This looks great, doesn't it? Across White River and the orange glow on the horizon. Of course, November 1st, we rolled the clocks back an hour last night, so sun setting an hour earlier. The wind gust forecast, it stays strong, but not compared to where we were through the afternoon. Winds will still gust over 20 miles per hour through midnight. This is what we wake up to. Temperatures in the 20s, mid-20s. Coldest morning in the 7-day forecast. We'll talk about the other big change as we go through the week coming up.
All right, Kevin, thank you. An investigation is underway tonight after firefighters found a body in the White River this afternoon. Emergency crews responded to the 1200 block of West Washington Street around 12:45 after someone called dispatch reporting the body in the water. The Marion County Coroner's Office is now trying to determine the identity of the person, but investigators say it is an adult male. Indiana conservation officers helped with the recovery, and IMPD says that group is handling the investigation. Anyone with information is asked to call the Marion County Coroner's Office. That number is 317-327-4744. Now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 2,787 new cases. 28 more Hoosiers have died with COVID-19, bringing the total number of COVID-related deaths to 4,124. Since March, more than 182,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Nearly 3 million tests have been administered here in Indiana. As the pandemic continues, the Salvation Army is launching a new fundraising effort virtually this holiday season. Leaders say money is needed now more than ever as families turn to them for help. The virtual Red Kettle campaign goal is $250,000. Supporters can create their own virtual kettle with a personal goal. It starts today and runs through the end of the year. Essentially, you become a virtual bell ringer and you can send your link to your friends and family. Volunteers that ring bells at locations across the city are still in high demand this year, as many volunteers are having to stay home because of the pandemic. As temperatures get cooler, tensions are heating up as more cities roll back to earlier COVID-19 restrictions. A national snapshot coming up next. The Indianapolis Colts stepped into the Lions' den today, and they are motoring back home after another impressive win. A bit later, highlights from Sunday's dust-up in Detroit. As the weather cools down and more people are gathering indoors, health officials worry that could increase the spread of COVID-19. As we head into the holiday season, all but 2 states are seeing a rising number of cases. Here's ABC's Zareen Shaw with the latest.
The U.S. reaching another grim milestone. More than 230,000 Americans have died from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. According to an internal HHS memo obtained by ABC News, 48 states, all except Nebraska and Delaware, are seeing cases rise, and deaths are climbing in 29 states. In El Paso, Texas, hospitals are nearing capacity. FEMA setting up a field hospital to treat the rising numbers of COVID-19 patients.
Whenever FEMA comes into any community, it's not a good thing. It means that the resources have been strained to the breaking point.
Nurses in the city demanding more personal protective equipment and asking the community to do their part to stop the spread.
We want the public to stay safe, social distance, follow the lockdown, wash their hands and wear their masks when they're out in public.
Beginning Wednesday, New York will now require out-of-state travelers to get a negative test before they visit. Governor Cuomo saying this approach is less time-consuming than the current 14-day quarantine.
Not only is it safer and easier, it's what you would want to do anyway if you're traveling. Before you get on a plane, make sure you're well.
In Illinois, hospitalizations are on the rise.
This disease is unrelenting. It doesn't care about what the location is.
The governor shutting down many bars and restaurants across his state, sparking lawsuits filed by business owners.
The restaurant industry is being singled out for closure, even though restaurants are the most highly regulated, frequently inspected, and health-focused industry there is.
Overseas, Britain's prime minister announcing a second national lockdown. The new restrictions coming amid a surge in cases across Europe that has forced closures and other safety measures in France, Spain, Germany, and elsewhere. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, no doubt, November starts way below average. It feels more like December, doesn't it? But here's the good news. Temperatures will rise this week and will be above average by the end of the week. A few snow showers in southwest Michigan, a few flurries into the Hoosier State just to confirm that it is cold. I love this time of evening. Sun goes down, city lights come up and start to take over. And you notice all of the cumulus clouds that we had through the day are fading away. The wind will calm a bit, but it will still gust to 20 miles per hour, and temperatures are poised to fall. 37 in Tipton and Greenfield, Indy's at 38. Temperatures to the southwest a little bit warmer in the 40s. That's the actual temperature. Winds are still strong, so these are the wind chill temperatures. It's the only time this week that we'll need to talk wind chill. I'm sure Todd will tomorrow morning for a few hours, and then we'll move on for the rest of the week, but it feels like 30 in Peru. 29 is the wind chill temperature in Indianapolis right now. No record for tomorrow morning. Looks like we'll miss that by about 10 degrees. The record set back in the early 1950s at 16 degrees. We'll be 10 degrees warmer than that at 26. You won't have to convince the kids, though, to wear the coat to the bus stop tomorrow, as I'm sure they had it on today, hopefully. Temperatures in the 20s tomorrow morning will not be repeated within the 7-day forecast. Temperatures during the overnight hours will warm steadily through the week, and afternoon highs will jump well above average too. Tomorrow, you can see temperatures struggle to maybe hit 50. The climb is steep and steady and prolonged and sustained. I'll throw all those words in there just to let you know that by the end of the week, temperatures around 70, and it's not like it's here for a day and then pulled right out from under us. We'll be able to enjoy that for a while. Put some specific numbers behind that chart I just had. Temperatures tomorrow at 49, on election day up to 60, midweek 65 with sunshine. It will still be breezy tomorrow. Winds out of the southwest, though, start to transport the warmer temperatures. That will help us in western Indiana reach 50 degrees along the Wabash River first. Other spots struggling to hit 50, but if that's our goal, no problem. On Tuesday, Election Day, if the lines wind way out of your polling place, at least you'll be standing in sunshine and temperatures that are tolerable around 60. Those are the afternoon highs expected across all of central Indiana on Tuesday. As you look beyond, watch the momentum of these temperatures. 65 Wednesday, 68 Friday, upper 60s to 70 both Saturday and Sunday, and overnight lows from 26 tomorrow morning to 50 next weekend or Sunday morning. We'll be back, talk a little Colts football with Brad Brown after this.
The Colts opened November with a big win. It took them a little bit to get going today, but once they did, the points added up in a hurry. They are heading home from the victory from a huge matchup, and next weekend, Brad Brown has a recap of Sunday's strong showing in Detroit.
We all knew Nyheim Hines was fast. On Sunday in Detroit, we found out he was nimble as well.
I learned how to do it on a trampoline, then I just went on the ground and threw it. So I've been able to do it for probably 10 plus years now. I actually talked about it this week, and I've been saying I was going to do it since my rookie year. Just sometimes when I score, I just forget. I just start screaming. So happy I remembered today, and I had a good feeling about this week. So I thought I might have a chance to do it.
The Colts running back had a chance to show off his gymnastic skills twice in the second quarter. A pair of touchdown receptions that helped the offense overcome a sluggish first quarter and hold a 13-point lead at halftime.
We're getting to know each other better. Obviously, this locker room was already tight. There's obviously guys that have been here. But just collectively, as a whole, we feel more and more comfortable around each other, both in the locker room and the interactions in the meeting rooms, on the practice field, even on the field today.
Darius Leonard returned after missing the last two games, a huge impact in the third quarter. Darius with a strip sack of Matthew Stafford. Justin Houston recovered, giving the Colts great field position. Leonard led the defense with 9 tackles.
Sometimes, life makes you be a cheerleader, and, it would just felt good to kind of, get back out there and just make some plays and just be out there with your teammates. And, Coach dialed it up all week saying that, he wanted to get me going into the rush.
The Colts did not have much of a run game for most of the day, but Jordan Wilkins took one in for a TD after that turnover. He also got the 2-point conversion. Wilkins managed 89 yards on 20 carries, but the Colts still averaged just over 3 yards per rush attempt.
Really, it's just about, waiting for my turn. I don't think anybody on our team is a selfish type player. We have a great backfield from the top to the bottom. So whenever my number's called, I just try to do the best I can to fill in.
The D pretty much put the game away. Kenny Moore stepping in for the fourth quarter interception, the Colts' league-leading 11th of the season. The pick six made it a 3-score game. Indy gets win number 5 with their highest points output of the season in the 41-21 win.
Each day of practice, we're just going out and challenging each other to make a good play great. And, taking the ball away, that's obviously a great play, but having points on the board as a defense, it's a game changer. And we just want to put our offense in the best position to win.
I just credit that's playmakers, right? The way that happens, the way you make plays is playmakers. So that's first and foremost a credit to our defensive players. Secondly, I think the defensive staff has done a good job of getting those guys and putting them in good positions.
The Colts pull even with Tennessee for the division lead after the Titans lost to the Bengals on Sunday. Keep in mind, the Colts and Titans play twice this month. The first of those is next Thursday night in Nashville. Next up, though, the Colts take on the Ravens. Baltimore is coming off a 28-24 loss to Pittsburgh. That snapped a 3-game win streak. So that means the Colts and Ravens will each have 5-2 records coming into that Week 9 matchup next Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Target is changing up its Black Friday sales this year. The retailer announced its new Black Friday Now deals. It's a series of week-long sales that run the entire month of November. The first week starts today and features deals on electronics. The second week focuses on kitchen favorites and floor care. The third week features more electronics, apparel, and beauty products. And the last week of the month is all about the toys and more, including select consoles. This is part of an effort to reduce crowds and control the spread of COVID-19. Before campaigning for Joe Biden in Flint, Michigan this weekend, former President Barack Obama called a game over on the basketball court. Obama swished a three-pointer at a local gym before taking the stage to stump for his one-time vice president. The winning shot was captured by the campaign's digital team and quickly went viral, garnering over 3 million views in 1 hour. The former president played varsity basketball in Hawaii and continued to play pickup games as a U.S. senator and later in the White House. Obama shouted, as you heard there, "That's what I do," as he walked off the court. Still has the skills, Kevin.
And he had a jacket on, too. It wasn't like he was dressed for basketball. Nothing but net. Temperatures tomorrow. Hoosier kids, we're tough enough to play basketball outside tomorrow. It's close to 50. You can play basketball outside the rest of the week for sure as temperatures climb. Nicole?
All right, Kevin, thank you. And thank you for joining us. See you tonight at 11.